Good morning. Good morning, guys. It's Sunday. I know many of you are probably getting up ready to go to church or whatever, but I'm going to be brief. I want to talk to you all briefly because I want justice. I want justice for my son. I want justice for many of God's children. And God woke me up last night. He wakes me up multiple times ever since. Well, I've been waking up. Like I said, God has me do night watches and pray in the middle of the night. But ever since my son has been arrested, I've been getting up several times a night. He's been waking me up several times to pray. And it's because where he is at, the environment is so wicked, it's so evil. I saw my son, I visited him for the first time. And you don't know what it feels like to go and see your son. You visit your son and you see him, you talk to him through a video. I couldn't see him in person. I couldn't touch him, I couldn't hug him or anything, I couldn't embrace him. I had to look at him through a video. I had to hold a phone up and look at him behind a screen. And I see him there in this orange jumpsuit with all these men hanging around. And this reality hit me like, wow, he's really in a real jail, an adult jail now. This is not juvenile detention center. This is a jail. And he says he's on the worst floor. They have him on the 8th floor where all the violent offenders are. Like he's just some hardened, violent criminal who's had history of violence and horrible crimes. And that's what they're trying to paint, this picture, this narrative. They're trying to have this depiction that my son is this horrible criminal. And this is what they've been doing for years, calling them violent offenders. And I know everybody says they had a good child. That's a cliche word that, oh, I had a good boy, he was a good boy. But my son was a good boy. He was a good child. And I invested in him. See, I made mistakes in my life, in my past. But with him, with my last 2 children, because I do have 4 children, I don't have any shame in that. I admit my faults where I was a teenage mother. And I could not take care of my older 2 children the way I was supposed to because I was too young. I was a 14-year-old girl and I had my first child at 15 years old. And my mother had to take custody. I didn't know how to be a mom. And so, see, the enemy, his accuser, the brethren, he likes to keep bringing up what you have done in the past and paint this picture, this narrative. But God has set us free. He transformed me, and I talked about that. I came to God myself, and I pleaded with him, and I begged him and said, Lord, show me how to be a mother. Because I didn't like what I was. I wanted to change. And my children were very young when God transformed me and showed me how to be a mother. I invested into my children. I invested into them. I got them away from the situation. I didn't even date any men. I wasn't really around anyone. Once I broken things off with their father, I stayed single because I said, I don't want to have a man around my children, a strange man growing up, destroying or abusing. I've heard many stories where the boyfriends would come in the house and abuse the children of their girlfriends who they're not their biological father. They would abuse them and hurt them. So I said, I made that sacrifice and I raised my children the right way. I kept them away from that. I invested into them. I didn't sit at home smoking and drinking. I didn't sit around smoking weed and drinking alcohol, laying around, have my kids outside to get rid of them. No, I supervised them. I did things with them. If they were outside at the park, I was out there. I was only mom out there on the playground. All the kids would flock around and they would play with us. And I would supervise all the children. I would do little games and interact with them. I was like embracing all the children because no other parents were out there with their kids. I would take my kids places. I did things with them. I took them to museums. I took them to the zoo. I took them to education places, the science center. They were always doing something, whether we were going to the circus, we did things. I kept them engaged. I didn't have my son out in the streets. I didn't have him in an environment where he was around activity, criminal activity, drug behavior, gang violence behavior. There's some families who do grow up and they have their children exposed to this. They have violence in the household. They have alcohol and drugs, or they don't supervise them. They don't do anything with them. My child was smart. I was always there volunteering at the school. I was engaged. I was always present. Whether there was an event or not, I'd be there volunteering, always around my children, advocating for them. I was there. And they did this to destroy him. When God showed me how they were putting his people in bondage, and many of these were black males, how they were oppressing them, that's when I started speaking out and praying. And I was fighting against all of his people. These are poor black people who were in bondage. And the enemy wanted to retaliate against me and paint a narrative that I was a horrible mother. And this narrative had been starting since then. They wanted to paint the narrative that I was a neglectful parent. My children were being abused. My son, Desmond, who's in jail right now, they have been abusing him. He has been suffering at the hands of witches and sorcerers in the school since he was 3 years old. He was in preschool. Like I told you before, this started when he was at Richmond Heights local school district. And I still want God to bring his judgment and wrath upon them because we still have not gotten our vindication. They antagonized and destroyed my child. There was a woman in the classroom who would mistreat him, do sorcery upon him. He would come home talking about headaches all the time, and I didn't understand what was happening. And I had to pray to God. It's finally when the Holy Spirit revealed to me, they're destroying his frontal lobe. And then all of a sudden he would start getting in trouble. First they would say, oh, he's a good boy. And every time that my son would come home, and he was very bright. He was outgoing and smart, beautiful child. He made friends easily. He loved school. He loved to learn. And he would come home and tell me things that were happening. He would tell me certain things, or he'll say something like, oh, well, there was somebody, my teacher did this to me, or a kid tried to touch me in the bathroom. And these were things that were going on, and they retaliated against him. I noticed every time my son would tell me something, and I would talk to the class, the school, all of a sudden he would get in trouble for something. Or he did this, he was tearing up the books, or he was bothering another child. But first you just said he was a good child and you never had any problems with him. I put all of this in evidence when I exposed the Richmond Heights local school district and the Mayfield High School District. Those videos are on this channel right now. And they wanted to label in the narrative that he was a horrible child, that he was a problematic child. And I would go to the school and I would see his counterparts, Caucasian males, running around doing things. And they would have him sitting there, and I would wonder, I would see things. The Lord was showing me how they were putting his people in their bondage, and they were grooming them to be in captivity. Certain children, they were grooming them to live a life of bondage where they could not be free. And I spoke out upon this, and they all retaliated against me. They retaliated against my child. He was getting picked on and teased every day, and the Lord was letting me know they were using sorcery to cause other children to attack him. They were using sorcery on the other children to control them, mind controlling, and they would cause them to mess with him. And every time I would go to school about the child, and I would have to go to school, then they would stop, then another child would come along. My son didn't have any problems with any children until all this started happening. He made friends and kids loved him. He got along well with children. And then there was a sudden change in everything. His personality and everything changed. I didn't know what was going on. And the Lord revealed this to me over years. I've sat here for years wondering what happened to my son, his behavior. He couldn't focus in school. He started not wanting to learn. He didn't want to go to school. He was getting sick. He felt ill. He was always coming home with headaches, and they were always having these bad reports. And he would suffer. He was isolated. He was crying. And like I said, he came home one day at 7 years old. He told me all the kids of the classroom, he was outside, they wouldn't play with him. They were all messing with him. He said, I didn't cry this time, Mom. And that was the most painful thing I felt, because a 7-year-old boy should not have to feel like they can't cry, because they were being isolated and ridiculed, and they would allow this to happen. They actually encouraged it to happen. These witches in these classrooms, this is why I talked about this. This is why I talk about advocating for your children. They did not like that I was advocating for my child. And these were schools where they wanted to oppress certain children, low-income children from low-income families, impoverished families, and they wanted to have this narrative, this blueprint that they're criminals. You heard the school to jail or the school to prison pipeline? This is all part of it. But what happened, there are agents that were assigned to my life. And there was an agent that was assigned to my life, multiple agents that were assigned to my life to attack my children. They were doing sorcery on them, doing evil things to them, and I asked God to give me justice. But when I looked at my son, when I looked at him sitting behind those glass bars, sitting behind that glass screen, I said, this is not right. The Lord let me know that this woman, Kiana Palmer, who I talk about all the time, you might try to hide who you are, go by Mocha Mama, call yourself Kiki Palmer, whatever. She has been relentlessly attacking my family. She is the one who they bound to me when I was a child. She has stolen my identity and been attacking me ever since. She's been very envious of me. And I put up so many videos where this woman has been attacking me and taking everything from me and attacking my children. She was one of the reasons my kids were put in foster care. She helped them. They had been attacking me and retaliating against me. The elites, all those who want my children taken out of the home, all those who wanted to retaliate against me and destroy my children and paint this narrative. They all were coming up against, there are many agents that were coming up against me and my family, but this woman has been the most wicked and basically the most prominent and prevalent in our lives. She has been fighting to take over my life, and she is so envious and jealous of me. The Lord let me know she was one of the ones who helped get my son arrested that day. She did it. They used her. She's been getting her rewards from Satan's kingdom. She's been getting paid to harass this family and to attack and torment us. And I'm on here today because I want justice. Yes, my son was a good boy, but he has gone through hell. Year after year, he had to go from school to school. And they've been sitting inside of him. They've been attacking him in the classrooms, everywhere. Attacking his brain, destroying his frontal lobe, messing with his control, messing with his impulse control, where he acts erratically, where he has anger problems. Now they cast all of that on, been binding themselves, binding other people. So many people have been binding themselves to my son. This is why I speak out about this stuff. The Lord showed me this a long time ago so I can help bring other people out of bondage. I've made podcasts, written blog posts, and made videos, and they block it all. I've written books about this stuff, and they would not allow it to sell. And you're going to be in trouble. All of you, because see, God had that purpose to bring people out of bondage and set the captives free. He was using me as a vessel to help set and free his people. And you continue to cover up my stuff. Many people have stolen everything out of me, attacked me, so my ministry could not go forward. This woman, Kiana Palmer, is one of them. And I'm talking about her today because I want justice. Many of you in the church have prayed for her when I've gotten on this channel and I've talked about how she's been taking over my life, how she's been attacking me, how she would jump in and out of me, change my physical features. As you see, my nose spreading and what, she's done all kinds of things and swapped everything. She's destroyed my skin. I had to put on layers of foundation, layers of makeup. And you might think that's frivolous, but this is not. See, when God creates you who you are, and these witches and sorcerers come here and they change who God meant for you to be. They destroy your blueprint, your identity, your trajectory of what your life is supposed to be. And she has done this. She has done many things. She has bound herself to me, put her burdens upon me. I suffered for years carrying the burdens of this woman. And they bind their people, whoever have their issues. They might be mentally ill, disabled, have any type of problems. They bind them to us, or they just do it out of evilness. They have an agenda and an assignment to destroy us. And the Satan put out an agenda to destroy me and my children because of the work I was doing for God's kingdom to free his people out of bondage. And they felt that I was a traitor. They felt I was a traitor because my father offered me up to Satan's kingdom, but I belong to Jesus Christ. I told the story before. And you might think that we did not suffer much, but we have. My son has suffered to many degrees. I know there are millennia children suffering, but God has used me to free his people out of bondage. But this woman has been tormenting my child since he was a disabled young boy, and she has been bothering him since he was a little boy, binding herself to him, putting the burdens of her child upon him. She has helped my children get taken out of this house and put in foster care. She was the one who bound herself to me. She is the one who put a spell out on my son. As you remember, I talked about that on this channel, how she put out a spell and had him kicked out of school. Had him kicked out of school, suffering shame, had a restraining order put upon him, and he was cast into a juvenile detention center. She did all of that, and she's working for Satan's kingdom. She can control him. They can control him. They use, like I said, they do remote attacks. They're very heavily adept in sorcery. They get people who are adept in sorcery to do their work. And they wanted to paint this agenda. They wanted to come up against me and paint this agenda. All of this because I exposed them. I exposed the Illuminati. I exposed the elites. And I exposed the man who they used who came against me. He is a part of their covenant, their evil network. And they all have been after me ever since. But I'm on here to talk about Kiana Palmer because she has relentlessly destroyed my family. She has sat inside of me, been very envious and jealous of me, and still talking about the same thing because she didn't like her skin color. She's sitting inside me now. You might see her. You see the same mannerism. She's here because they don't want me to tell. They want to make sure they're here to make sure I don't expose the truth. But you don't fight up against God. God gave me an agenda to expose what was going on to his people and to bring awareness and to help fight spiritually. I say spiritually because they try to always misconstrue. They want to set me up for all kinds of things. They're trying to kill me. They're trying to murder me and take my life. They're trying to set me up to put me in captivity. They're doing everything. They're doing all of this because they're on assignment. They're on an agenda because I'm doing the work of God. And they feel that I'm a traitor, that I belong to Satan's kingdom. But my son has suffered. Both of my children have suffered. I talked about, I made many videos on this channel, how my children were being attacked by these sorcerers and witches. They would have physical illnesses that no one could find any reason for. They took everything from us. They swapped everything. They took and destroyed my ministry. They put, like I said, they put fat all over my body. They've been putting fat upon me for years. I can go 2 or 3 days without working out, and all of a sudden I have 30 pounds on me. I have to work out every day because if I don't work out every day, even if I do skip a couple of days, she's been transferring all her fat and burdens upon me. But she has destroyed my son. Like I said, that day I unprivated those videos. 2 of those videos were exposing her. And one of them was talking about the court. And anytime they want to do something, anytime they want to take my kids out of the house or retaliate against me, these people have been unhinged, following me around, retaliating against me for every little thing I do, watching me and monitoring me constantly. Every time I do something they don't like, they retaliate against me or they retaliate against my children because they know they hurt me most when they touch my children. And so this woman has been on assignment for years, binding herself to my children, binding herself to my daughter, stealing my daughter's hair, stealing her beauty, stealing her skin, stealing my hair, stealing my beauty, stealing my skin, stealing everything from my son, binding herself to my son, taking things from my son, giving it to her son. They have stolen his identity. They have hijacked it. This is what these sorcerers do. They will hijack the identity of God's children. They have stolen his identity. They have taken everything. They have put their burdens upon him, and he has bore it. We have bore their burdens for years. But she sat there that day when I unprivated those videos, and she got angry. And they set it up. They have been setting it up for weeks. My son, like I said, he's been going to the recreation center. He's been going to Gunning Recreation Center here on the west side. And he was going there every day because he had nothing else to do. They had been blocking his life, cutting him off from doing things because they wanted to put him in a bondage, to retaliate against me. And all this is to force me over to Satan's kingdom so they can get their way in their agenda. You're not going to get your way with me. We have to stay strong into the end. This is what this is a battle. It says to endure to the end. Those who endure to the end shall be saved. And so they were plotting to do something already, because like I said before, Cuyahoga County and Children and Family Services have been plotting against me for years now, because they've been exposed. These are the type of unhinged people who are filled with so much pride and so much wickedness that when you expose the wrong that they do, they will make it their mission, their agenda to destroy you. They will do everything in their power to hide the evils that they have done. They don't want their evil to be exposed. These are the type of people who like to do covert things. They like to have hidden agendas. They do their stuff in secret and they want to cover it up. But God says to expose it. What's hidden should be revealed and uncovered. It says what's hidden should be uncovered. What's done in the dark should be brought to light. And see, God had a reason for this to be exposed, because many people were being affected by it. He allowed me to go through this, even though I questioned him over and over, Lord, why? He allowed me to go through this so that I could bring awareness to other people who were going through the same things. I had to fight for years in warfare and fast and pray and do spiritual fasting and prayer and battling just to get to this point where God's revealed to me what was going on. And since I exposed their secrets to bring his people out of captivity, they have made it their agenda to make my life a living hell. And they have fought up against my children for years. My children have suffered. My son has been isolated for years. They have kept him from having a social life. They have destroyed his childhood. Cannot be a child. He is 18 years old. And this is what they say. They say people are grown men. They're adults, or they're adult women and men when they're 18 or 19. A lot of these people are still stuck as children because they have destroyed their lives. They have taken their childhood from them. You take a child, put him in captivity, keep him isolated from peers his own age. Do not let him experience childhood. Do not let him grow and do the things that he's supposed to do and be as a free young man or young woman. And you expect them now at 18 years old to become an adult. You've taken their childhood from them and you've stunted their growth and their development. And this is what God is talking about. And a lot of people who are going to be in trouble if you allow this to happen. Many of you who are in the church, many of you have been put in these positions. You're working on these jobs. And I'm going to talk about this in another video. You're working on these jobs and you think, oh, I'm doing my job, I'm getting a paycheck. No, you're doing your job. But if your job is requiring you to contribute to evil and to condone evil and to help commit crimes or do something that you know is breaking God's law, you're going to be held accountable for it. God does not want to hear that you were doing your job. When your job makes you do something that goes against what his law stands for, you're going to be in trouble with him. He's going to judge you. But like I said, they have attacked my children relentlessly. They have done physical illnesses on my daughter. They make her sick, make her physically ill. They have her in and out of the hospital. They've been attacking her that way. But they've attacked my son by putting him in captivity and bondage, getting him in trouble, having kids pit up against him, having adults terrorize him and mess with him. He has been getting arrested and getting into legal problems since he was 12 years old. And they have been doing this. Like I said, this entire coven, this entire evil network, they had this agenda to destroy my son, because of the work I've done. And I exposed them down in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, when I told the school district, when he was at Susquehanna Township. I told the teacher then, when the Lord let me know, he revealed to me when the principal was standing outside. There was a principal there standing outside by the name of Christy Prime. And she would stand out there as the kids were getting off the bus. A lot of these were low-income children from poor families, impoverished families, black children, mostly minority children. And she would have her hand over them. And the Lord was letting me know she was doing sorcery against them to control their minds and their brains. And my son was coming every day. My son was having problems, and she would retaliate against him. They use these sorceries and witchcraft to control the children and control their minds. And these things happen. And this is why a lot of times you see the children, they end up doing things in the schools, and they think it is the children end up losing their lives behind it. But they're doing this. They're creating this narrative. And a lot of them are doing this on their agenda. Like I said, this is how they get their money. This is how they continue to have their wealth. They retain their wealth, their positions of authority, their status, because they do the work for Satan. They destroy lives of children. They destroy lives of his people. They put them in a bondage and captivity. And so when he was at Susquehanna Township Middle School, I knew that they were attacking my son every day. And I told him, I said, God's going to restore him. He's healing him. And they got mad and they came out and they took everything out of him. So it makes him seem like he's erratic, like he has no impulse control. He's erratic. He's filled with anger. This is sorcery. They have destroyed him. They destroyed his frontal lobe. They've done it to many children. But these agents, all these agents who have gotten their things by destroying God's people, you will be dealt with. God is going to deal with you. I'm not threatening you, but God is going to deal with you. But let's go back to Kiana Palmer, because she's trying to change the narrative to have everybody else being exposed except her, because I know that's her pattern. This woman likes to hide. She likes to do evil things and have everyone else take the blame and the fall for it. She puts up veils to try and divert the attention off of herself. It's not going to happen this time. Jezebel's not going to have her way. I'm on here because I want her to have judgment. She is supposed to be held accountable for the things she has done. She has committed crimes against us. She has attempted to murder my children. She's attempted to murder me numerous times. The Lord has already brought it to my attention that she has sexually assaulted me and sexually assaulted my child. She has sexually assaulted my daughter while she was sitting in foster care. They allowed her to have her way with my daughter. She bound herself to my daughter, and you saw her inside of my daughter. That's why my daughter was so big, gaining all this weight. Her skin complexion changed. She was very dark. She was taking things from my daughter, binding herself to her, doing things, molesting her at night to form soul ties with her in the spiritual realm. She was doing things to me. Like I told you before, she put her vagina on my face in the spiritual realm. She came and astral projected and put her vagina on my face. She has assaulted me numerous times, tried to give me a heart attack probably over 30 or 40 times. She has tried to take my life. She has been binding herself to me for years, stealing everything from me and my children, doing the work for Satan's kingdom. And this is how these people get their wealth. Yes, she has her office, she has her business, she has her money, but she has done the work to destroy God's people. And she has come up against my children. She just got through I had a water bottle the other day. And I picked the water bottle up to my mouth because I was drinking it. I put the water bottle up to my mouth and I was about to take a drink and I smelled the cap of the bottle and it smelled like a woman's vagina. And Lord, let me know. I knew it in the spirit right away. I got the knowledge. She came in there and asked Jack and put her vagina on my stuff. She's been harassing us for years, to antagonizing us and destroying us. But what I want to expose is how she destroyed a disabled child and had him taken out of the home and put into captivity more than once on more than one occasion. When she put out that spell to have him taken out of the house, and he caught that he was put, basically they caught him for basically menacing or causing a panic. The charge was he caused a panic with the school because he had a razor. He found a box cutter on the ground. And this is when they mess with him. They've been messing with him for a while. They can easily manipulate and control disabled or special needs children. And they target them. And this woman has done this along with this man who I talk about all the time, James Penny. I don't care. I'm exposing your name. You're not going to bully me and coerce me into not expose your name. The Illuminati, the Freemasons, all the elite and the government is behind it, helping them do this to me. They want them. They're getting their pension, their money, all their rewards and their benefits from Satan's kingdom because they want to retaliate against me for exposing everything. But like I said, they had him arrested. And this all happened back in about maybe 2022. My son just came home in 2023 from being in the juvenile detention center for 3 years. For being in group homes and juvenile detention centers where they have been attacking him and messing with his brain and harassing him. He came home from captivity and came home to spend time with his family. He's only been home for 2 years, but now he's back out the house again here in 2025. It's barely been 2 years. He's back in captivity. She had him sent away the first time. She put out that spell work. Like I said, I put the video up here. If I can find the picture, I'll post it again. But she said, let's see what kind of charges we can put on her son. And she got her entire coven together, her unhinged coven. She has a follower of people who she manipulates. She's adept in sorcery. And when you're doing magic and witchcraft, you can manipulate people into believing whatever it is that you want. She has stolen everything from me and she hides. She sits behind veils and hides and plays the victim and has everyone believing that her victims are the ones who are the problem. But this is not going to go forth. I'm asking that the veils are removed and that you will pray for me because she has destroyed and antagonized my son since he was a small boy. She's been binding herself to my daughter. She's about 5 or 6 years old. She's been destroying the lives of two disabled children, and messing with many other people. And she set this up and she has decided to use sorcery to have my son taken out this house again. Like I said, he was at Gunning Recreation Center. She watches this house and spies inside of us. She binds herself to me and sitting inside me, watching everything we're doing. She's so envious and hateful and jealous of me. She's causing strife throughout the place, causing and setting up things, pitting up the children to mess with my son, pitting up other people, young adults, whatever, to bother my son while he's at the recreation center. They stole his charger probably a couple weeks right before this happened. And the Lord brought it to my attention that they used that charger. And she's working for all of them to get him caught up, to get him arrested, to put that charge upon him. She helped them get him taken out of this home. She helped him. She's the cause of him taking that knife and stabbing that boy. She has been harassing this child, a special needs child, for years. And so what I want is justice. Because she has caused my son to be put in captivity. He is sitting behind bars now facing a felony. And they have done this. They have done this to get their rewards. They have come up against my children for their narrative, to paint the narrative that, oh, my son was unhinged and I raised a felonious child, a child who has problems. They want to continue to cover up that they wrongfully took my child out this house. See, this is what they do. They don't want to ever admit their wrongs. They want to cover it up. They'll go to extreme measures to cover up when they have done something wrong. So they have been trying to paint a motive and a narrative that they had every reason to take my child out the home. But they know they took my child out the home to protect their own person who was attacking me and my family. Now, you see this woman sitting inside me. You know how I look on this channel. She is bound to me right now. She has been heavily bound, taking over my soul. All you see is her face. All you see is her. She has been here every day. And I fight. I have to pray all the time. She's constantly setting up stuff. And she might try to retaliate against my son. I'm asking you to pray with me and help me pray that she does not cause any problems for him. I have to pray multiple times a day because my son is in a jail. He is on the most violent floor. And it's not right that she has her son. She's been following us around, attacking him since he was a little boy. But she has her son who is free. He was able to graduate high school and go to college and live a normal life. He's able to work and drive a car. My son didn't have any of that. He's been in bondage and captivity. And that's what happens when these people who are part of the kingdom of darkness, they swap lives. They steal the destinies of God's children. And they put their burdens on God's people. And they antagonize God's children. And they do this and they destroy his people. You're going to have to answer to God for everything. And those of her who are part of the churches, who are part of the covens and everything, who are protecting her, You saw when I've been on this channel numerous times and I've been asking God to remove her, but he says you all keep praying for her. She is supposed to have her judgment. She's supposed to have her judgment. And you're going to be accountable. This is you sharing this accountability now that you have an innocent child, an innocent young boy, a disabled one at that, sitting behind bars, facing a felony, facing a charge for felonious assault because you did not do anything about it when these people were messing with my child. Now, if my son is sitting behind bars for assault, what is supposed to happen to her? She is supposed to be held accountable for all the crimes she's committed against me and my children, attempting to murder us numerous times, using sorcery and witchcraft. Yes, that is God's law you've broken. There might not be any laws in the country of America because they have decided to be rebellious and go against God's ways. You set laws against everything else, but God's law specifically talks about witchcraft and sorcery. It is an abomination unto him. And he says that you're not supposed to have that. You're not supposed to suffer a wish to live. There's not supposed to be no sorcerer to get into his kingdom. This is an abomination when you're using sorcery to destroy the lives of his people, to ruin children's lives at that. These are children. They were touching these people. They're messing with my children since they were young and small. It says if anyone offends one of these little ones who belongs unto you, it'd be better for a millstone be hanged about their necks or they be drowned in the sea. Their fates are supposed to be worse than having a millstone hanging about their necks and being drowned in the sea if you mess with his children. It also says in the Bible that there are offenses that come in this world, but woe unto those who offenses come by. She's supposed to have woe and destruction. Now, I'm only advocating on her because I'm exposing this because she's not going to continue to think that she's going to cover up the crimes that she has done and paint everybody else as the problem and victimize herself. She has to be exposed for destroying my child's life and sending my son behind bars. And she is supposed to reap what she has sown. Her son is not supposed to be walking around free. She's not supposed to be free. They're really both supposed to be behind bars. And I know they're going to try to swap the narrative to have me arrested for something. But no, I'm asking that God will stand and get judgment, that you will pray with me, that God will judge the wicked, that they will not cast their burdens upon us anymore. And if God puts me behind bars, it will be his will. His will only to save his people. I will not go behind bars. If I go behind bars, he's going to bring the entire thing down. What I want now is justice because this woman has been bound to me. She's been antagonizing me and my children for years. She has caused my son a lifetime of pain. She has destroyed his life, put her shame, her burdens upon him, the shame of her son's burdens. She has swapped their lives. My son has faced nothing but captivity because of her and their entire covenant that's been coming up against him since he's a small boy. They have destroyed the lives of many children. This is why you'll hear the narrative where some children who were quiet, they didn't get in any trouble, they were good kids. All of a sudden, they did a complete 360 turnaround because these witches are attacking them. And they don't like the fact that I spoke out and exposed them. But God said he is here to set the captives free. He has given us the ability to preach the gospel to the poor and to set the captives free, to bring forth liberty, to speak about the works of darkness that the people do not know about. It says my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. When you don't know about it, you're destroyed. The enemy wants to continue to destroy God's people by covering up these hidden agendas. And yes, I'm exposing this woman because I've talked about her on this channel and nothing's been done about her. Notice how they don't even arrest their own. They can have evidence of all the crimes she's committed and they won't do anything. They'll cover it up. They'll make excuses for it because they want this to happen. This is why you'll see a lot of times that there are a lot of criminals who get away with their evil for years. And it takes a long time to put them behind bars because they have the immunity of the enemy working before them. And they have their own wicked people who are covering them and not getting justice. But we're tired of it, especially when children have to face the consequence for the crimes they commit. And a lot of them they're not even the ones who commit these crimes. They cause them to commit these crimes. These are innocent children who they have destroyed, and they have destroyed their lives and made them to carry that burden. They've caused that burden to be put upon these children. And God is not like this. This is wicked. And this is why I'm asking the church, the true church, not the church who says they're part of the church, but they're witches and sorcerers sitting up in the church who are disguised as sheep, but they're ravening wolves there to destroy God's people. I'm talking about the true church. I'm asking you to stand up and that you will pray on our behalf so that God can get justice and that vengeance is served. Thank you.
One of the most disturbing things for me is when I am talking about colorism and a black person will interrupt me to say, you're not even that black. What that tells me is that I'm supposed to disassociate myself from people who are darker than me, and that only darker people can talk about colorism and how they've been affected. And what it also does is it diminishes my personal experiences that I've had because of my darker skin tone. I'm darker than a brown paper bag. So when I'm hearing specifically black people, shh, be quiet, you're not even that dark. What are you talking about colorism for? Like, everybody should be talking about colorism. Black, white, light, dark, because it's a problem all over the place. So for that, I will lay my life down for him with no second guessing. He gives me hope. He brings me joy. He makes me feel like I can conquer the world this beautiful black little boy. But among all of my blessings and all of my bliss, darkness.
I posted those past 2 videos just to emphasize and show how Kiana Palmer has a fixation and obsession with colorism. She is a naturally darker skinned woman, hence the name Mocha Mama. And for years, she's been allowing herself to get lighter, making herself lighter by binding herself to me and my children, still in our skin tone, still in our complexion, still in our hair, our beauty, our shapes, our talents, and our gifts, and hiding who she truly is, putting up veils and walking around assuming our identities and our DNA. And this is what the kingdom of darkness has been doing for years. They have been taking the burdens of themselves and putting it off on God's children by creating soul ties and holding us on altars. And they will take whatever they want about us. They'll take our talents and our gifts. They trap souls so they can steal our DNA. They can steal our physical features, our beauty, our bodies, our shape, whatever it is that they want about us. And then they'll cast their burdens upon us, whatever it is about themselves, their mental illnesses, their addictions, their bondages, their depression, their shame, their burdens, their physical appearances that they don't like. They change their hair texture. They can change whatever they want. As you can see here, she is a naturally larger and curvier woman, and she gains weight very quickly and must have a slower metabolism. Me, I've had an athletic build and can lose weight very easily, but over these years, she has been binding herself to me and transferring her burdens upon me, having me walk around carrying her fat. It is a bondage. They have put us in captivity. They have been enslaving our family for years, holding us on altars so they can take everything about us, steal our DNA and steal our identities and hijack them so they can become who we are and take what is ours. I'm posting these videos here to show you the obsession that Kiana has with me and how she has been making me a target. As you see in these photos, right in the center of her forehead, there's a dark patch and there's acne and lines, small, fine lines there. And when you look at recent videos, these are more older videos because she has severe eczema. I showed this before. She has acne and eczema and things that she has been transferring to me. She's been putting it upon me, putting all her burdens upon me. And the Lord let me know she is extremely jealous and hateful towards me. I've done nothing to her but expose her, but she has been following me around and attacking me and targeting me for years, taking things from me and my children. And she has been doing everything in her power to destroy me. She's been attempting to murder me by trying to give me heart attacks. She does this covertly by using witchcraft and sorcery. She has been causing strife in our homes, jumping in and out of my daughter, trying to cause my daughter to have mental breakdowns and have her sent to mental institutions, creating strife between me and my daughter. She caused me and my daughter get into an altercation on Mother's Day. She enjoys and thrills in me being hurt. She hangs around me and watches me all day to destroy every relationship that I have. And she's been doing things on purpose to bring pain and inflict pain and harm upon my children. I have been targeted by Kiana Palmer and her family for years. This woman has an extreme obsession with me and a fixation to the point she wants to become me. She hates me because she is not me. There's an infatuation there. And I believe also there's a form of homosexuality. I am tired of being attacked by this woman. There's been nothing done to stop her from attacking me and even targeting my children. I've done everything I could to pray for her. I prayed for her numerous times to get her out of her bondage, even when the Lord told me she was going to try to murder her child. And I prayed for her to stop that, and she has rewarded me nothing but evil for good. I tried to pray for her to come out of her bondage and her captivity. She did not want it. She did not want God. Jesus Christ is the burden carrier. She did not want it, but she cannot continue to target this family and take her wrath and her anger out upon me and my family and fulfill the work of Satan to destroy and target this family and my children. She has been making my life a living hell for years, her and her entire covenant and all those who have been hired to come after us. And I'm asking now for justice. My son has been destroyed and targeted, and he should not have been involved in the middle of this. He was a special needs child. Him and my daughter should not have been targeted by this woman and this entire covenant that's come up against us.
Your word, you have not protected her and covered her. She came to you and you destroyed her. You let James Penny cut in her feet. You let it.
This is my son's things. He still sleeps with his stuffed animal. He's a child still at heart. He was a child. He likes a little dashy. He likes basically superhero things. Look at this mask over here. He got this little mask, like Deadpool, all that kind of stuff. He's still like a boy at heart. He lost his life. He lost his childhood. It was taken from him. He didn't get to graduate with his peers. He saw his sisters all graduate, get a high school diploma that was stolen from him when they had him arrested and taken out of his house and put in juvenile detention centers for 4 months and put in group homes for 3 years. He didn't get to have that. When he was back in school, he was running track, he was doing well, and so they set it up to have him taken out again. I want justice for my son. They do this to too many of our children, and this is why God is judging the country of America. Too many hidden crimes, too many evils that God has seen. You have to pay for this. The Lord revealed to me that they have my son on altars. They've been holding our family on altars to keep us in captivity. This is why they want to keep us here, so they can use our things. They've been using our brains, our talents, our gifts, our knowledge, our beauty, our looks, our DNA, our physical features, our strength, everything God's put inside of us. They have been trapping us on their altars for years, so we cannot move forward. And they want to keep us in captivity here. I've been trying to leave and flee this country with my children, and they won't let us go. They keep trying to set us up and put us in bondage and captivity so they can continue to use our things. The Lord has revealed to us that many people have been bound to us, taking our stuff, celebrities, entertainers, even presidents. There have been many of them. And I won't reveal any names because then they'll have the Secret Service come after me. But I'm just letting you know it's wicked. God has seen it all. This is when my son was in a group home. They've been having him in captivity for years to hold on to us. This country has been trapping the souls of many people. Those who are workers of iniquity, who are part of the kingdom of darkness, been trapping the souls and gaining a profit off of the lives of many of God's children, many of people, unsuspecting people. And they targeted me because I know a lot because God revealed it to me. And they feel I know too much. Many of these people have been living off of me and my family. They made a profit off of us, and we have not been allowed to have anything in this country. We've not been able to have a stable employment, own a business, have anything. They've kept us in bondage and poverty, never even owned a home, going from place to place, living off of dire income and impoverishment and in captivity. They've done this to many of God's people. And what I'm saying right now, the enemy does not like it. And this is why they've been attacking me so relentlessly and using agents like the woman I talked about here to come after us.
Now you see looking at my head is bleeding. I'm not pretending. And my lip is bleeding and my nose are bleeding. Look at me, I'm bleeding. What the hell? Please help me. I'm bleeding. I'm bleeding. My head was bleeding because we was playing catch and it's my throat and Mom threw the football on my head and my head started bleeding. And she hit the football on my nose and my head and it started bleeding. So goodbye. It's not a joke. I'm not laughing. Look. Am I laughing?
As you can see in that video, my son Desmond was a preppy, proper talking boy. He wasn't ghetto. He loved to joke around. He liked to prank, and he used fake blood and do things. He was a silly, outgoing boy who just did regular little mischievous boy acts. He wasn't a bad boy. He wasn't ghetto. He wasn't violent. He wasn't a thug. They attacked his brain in the classrooms. They targeted him. This woman bound her son to his soul. They swapped destinies. Many people have bound themselves to my son, and they turned him into a thug. I'm a mother who will do whatever I can legally to save my children. And my son is behind bars, and they're trying to pin someone on it that they caused. And I know the truth. And it is wicked. And I know now. They want to shut me up. They're mad because I'm exposing the truth. To fight back for my son. I'm not doing anything illegal to anyone. I'm just making videos exposing the truth of all the crimes and all the damage, all the wrong that was done to me and my children. They're done this to me. They came up against me and my family because I did what God told me to do, his work. And you know, those of us who follow God, who follow Jesus Christ, sometimes we have to be obedient to Jesus Christ. And sometimes we have to do things that might cause problems for us because the enemy doesn't like it. And I'm asking you all to continue to pray for me and my children. Pray for me, pray for Desmond, pray for Cherish, pray for my family, period. But the enemy has been attacking us relentlessly. And just like I told you all before, when I said they're going to try and take me out the home and say I'm crazy and put me in a mental institution, they did that. I feel in my spirit that they are looking for a way to shut me up. They're trying to take me. They're trying to find a way to put me in captivity. They want to send me away. They want to put me in jail. They want to find a way to send me away. They've been doing this before. They've been trying to look for ways, and they're following me everywhere. They're watching me, having people watch me, agents. And they've been trying to concoct whatever they can because I'm exposing the truth to save my children. And any good parent who loves their child, they're not going to allow their children just to be incriminated and have their whole lives destroyed, especially when they were set up and conspired against this organized crime that was done against me and my family. And God sees it all. We had no one to help us, no one to stand up for us, because everyone's afraid. We have no one to help us. Everyone's afraid of them. And I'm not encouraging anybody to do anything wrong, or I'm not trying to overthrow the government or commit treason like they try to lie and say I've done. But I'm standing here because God is the ultimate judge. You have your courts, you have your municipalities, you have your judges, your magistrates, your governors, your politicians, your presidents, even of the United States. But God is the ultimate judge. He said the government is on his shoulders. Jesus Christ bears the government on his shoulders. And he sees everything you've done. You're supposed to abide by his laws. He is the ultimate one. And when you're committing these type of crimes, he sees everything. So you cannot get away with it with him. He will judge everyone, no matter what you do. You could try to shut me up by putting me away or locking me away or doing something to my son or taking my life. But you will have to pay for this. Whatever you do, all the things you've done to all of his people, you have to pay. So I'm letting you all know right now, because this has happened to many people. I am not suicidal. I am strong mentally and emotionally. I'm going through a lot right now, and I'm in pain because my son is facing a felony. They have him in a violent place where they're trying to take his life and destroy him. They've already ruined his life since he was a child. But I'm letting you know that God has me. God has gotten me through so much. And he's given me a sense of calm that I didn't even know I could get through it. But I know it's his hand on me. So I don't want to take my own life. I'm not suicidal. I have no reason to take my life. I have no reason for anything. If anything happens to me, you know why it happened. I'm just letting you all know this now. You know, the enemy does not like it. And there are people who are controlled. They have given up their souls in exchange for some material things, with some power and some money, some wealth, and a little bit of fame and success. But there's a price to pay for all of that. So I'm asking you all to stand strong. I ask you to stand strong. If you don't see me making any more videos for a while, or you don't hear any more from me, you know why. But I ask you to continue to pray for me and my children, that you will continue to stand strong. I have a host of videos on this channel, and I've published so many books. And they've done everything to fight up against me. This wasn't even supposed to have been for me. This was not my burden to carry. The Lord let me know there were people in the churches who he gave this burden to. They were on these jobs. Those people were on these jobs, working in these companies. They were supposed to deal with this, but this got thrown on me because they didn't do what they were supposed to have done. They gave into the agenda, they gave into the system, and they got their rewards. And they contributed to the damage that was done to God's people. And they will have their day. On judgment day, when they stand before Jehovah Jireh, they will have their day. And all those who came after me and destroyed me and my children, you will have your day with God. He will judge. He says vengeance is his, and he shall repay. Thank you.